Justice Department sues Texas over 6-week abortion ban. Announcing the lawsuit at a news conference in Washington, Attorney General Merrick Garland said the Texas law's unprecedented design seeks to prevent women from exercising their constitutional rights by thwarting judicial review for as long as possible. The act is clearly unconstitutional under longstanding Supreme Court precedent, Garland said. Since the law went into effect, clinics across Texas have stopped offering abortions after 6 weeks, or have shuttered altogether. The lawsuit, filed in a federal court in Austin, alleged that the Texas law is unconstitutional because it conflicts with the statutory and constitutional responsibilities of the federal government. The United States has the authority and responsibility to ensure that Texas cannot evade its obligations under the Constitution and deprive individuals of their constitutional rights by adopting a statutory scheme designed specifically to evade traditional mechanisms of federal judicial review, the lawsuit states. DOJ was surprised by Supreme Court's actions. The U.S. Supreme Court last week declined a request by clinics to block the law from going into effect. In an unsigned order, the court's majority wrote that while the clinics had raised serious questions regarding the constitutionality of the Texas law, they had not met a burden that would allow the court to block it at this time due to complex and novel procedural questions.
The Supreme Court's refusal to stop the law from going into effect caught Justice Department officials by surprise, according to a DOJ official, since every other similar restrictive law had been blocked. Dozens of lawyers spent the past week working on the best way to try to challenge the law directly. They determined using the federal programs that would be disrupted by the ban presented the best way to establish standing and to try to preempt the law. Thursday, Garland said the Texas law infringed upon the activities of Labor Department, Defense Department, and other federal agencies. Specifically, DOJ said in the lawsuit, the Texas law exposes federal personnel and grantees to liability for carrying out their federal obligations to provide access to abortion-related services to persons in the federal government's care. The DOJ also argued in the filing that the government has the right to bring the suit against the state because the U.S. may vindicate its interest when a state law flagrantly infringes the constitutional rights of the public at large. The United States therefore may sue a state to vindicate the rights of individuals when a state infringes on rights protected by the Constitution. It also cited the so-called Take Care Clause of the Constitution, which says that the president has the duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Reproductive rights groups that have already brought their own federal court challenge to the Texas law, only to see that lawsuit stalled by the procedural difficulties the ban presents, cheered the Biden administration's actions. Bridget Amiri, deputy director of the ACLU Reproductive Freedom Project, called the new lawsuit welcome news, and Nancy Northup, president and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights, deemed the DOJ's involvement a game changer. Earlier, Texas Right to Life, the anti-abortion group that led the charge in getting the Texas law passed, scoffed at the news that the department was taking action. Its Vice President Elizabeth Graham said Biden was a puppet of the radical abortion agenda, and his DOJ will quickly find that they do not have jurisdiction to stop the Texas Heartbeat Act. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's office pledged to defend the law and called the DOJ lawsuit a distraction for the White House. The most precious freedom is life itself. Texas passed a law that ensures that the life of every child with a heartbeat will be spared from the ravages of abortion, Abbott Press Secretary Renee said in a statement. Unfortunately, President Biden and his administration are more interested in changing the national narrative from their disastrous Afghanistan evacuation and reckless open border policies instead of protecting the innocent unborn. Garland on Monday had also pledged to protect abortion clinics in Texas by enforcing a federal law that prohibits making threats against patients seeking reproductive health services and obstructing clinic entrances. The story has been updated with additional details.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe